Go ahead.
Alright, today we're going to be making cioppino. It contains several ingredients and a pretty in-depth recipe. So we're going to start going through the ingredients right now. This is pancetta, which is like an Italian bacon. We have our julienne onions, fennel, and I've removed the stems and cored the unedible parts out, and we just have what's left is the bulb. I have some diced carrots or coin-cut carrots, red chili flakes, a little bit Old Bay seasoning, some white pepper, dried fennel, bay leaf, fresh oregano, salt and pepper, fresh garlic, anchovy paste, and clam base. And over here we have some white wine, some clamato, extra virgin olive oil, and we have imported Italian tomatoes. These are from San Marzano. So the first step in this dish is we're going to get the fennel roasting. So I have a mixing bowl here. I'm just going to take the fennel, toss it in the mixing bowl, a little bit of olive oil, take a pinch of salt and pepper, just going to kind of toss this around a little bit, and then we're going to put it in a foil packet and put it in the oven. Fennel in there, coat it, close it up, and we put it in the oven at 400 degrees. It takes about 40 minutes. We've got the fennel bulbs in the oven cooking. Take the fennel prawn, just chop it in half, fill a pot with water, just let this cook. This is going to be a broth to kind of finish this dish. So we start with our chopped up pancetta. Get that nice and hot. Put it around with the spoon a little bit. We're trying to brown it up. Just want to render the fat out of it before we add anything else. If you can't find pancetta at the grocery store, you can use bacon. It's a decent substitute for this recipe. Same kind of thing. We're just looking for the pancetta to start getting a little dark here. And you'll smell the meat. See how the fats are releasing from it. You get little crispy bits. Turn down the heat just a little bit because we don't want to burn it. And now we're going to add our onions. This is 2 large onions. Julienne, I'm not going to use all this probably. That's probably good. Just get them coated with the pancetta juices. Break them up. Turn the heat back up a little bit. The onions going. And I'm going to put a little bit more oil. Season this right now with a little salt and pepper. And I'm going to add the garlic right now too, so I want to get that browned up as well. So you can see our onions are coated. Some of them are starting to get a little dark. We don't want to kill them, we just want to get them translucent. This is kind of a big recipe, but you can keep it in your refrigerator for, I don't know, probably a week or so anyway. I don't add any seafood to the recipe, this is more of a base. And you can add whatever you like. If you like lobster, shrimp, crab meat. I use scallops, shrimp, mussels, and fish here at the restaurant. But you can make a cioppino with whatever kind of seafood you want. The dish is actually not truly an Italian dish, it's more of a San Francisco Italian dish. It was made from all the fishermen in San Francisco. They would kind of get their daily catch and just slap them together with tomatoes and a broth, and cioppino was born. Take our clam base. And if you can't find clam base, you can use clam juice from the grocery store. That'll work. Take a bottle of it and just let it cook down. And anchovy paste. Now this is not a very common ingredient in the grocery store either, but you can buy anchovies, grind them up in a processor, and you got the same thing. So I'm just gonna kind of almost burn this, let it kind of stick to the pan a little bit. Now we're gonna deglaze this entire pan with some white wine. Now this is a Chablis, but you can use whatever white wine you want. Now we're going to cool off the pan and we're going to scrape all that stuff off that we just made into the wine. And the sticky bits that stick to the pan actually have a name. They're known as fond. And that's what when we deglaze, we release the fond of the pan, and that's all the sugars and some concentrated flavors, and we just bring that into the mix here. So now we're going to let this wine reduce by about half. It won't take long. And you can see the onions are getting nice and soft, and this is a really nice smelling base now. Don't get too fancy with your cuts on the carrots, just a nice round cut. I don't even peel them, I just rinse them off. Turn the heat down again. You don't want to get too hot. Use a little bit of chili flake. White pepper, and be careful with white pepper. It's very fine and it bleeds, so if you season it with white pepper and you think it tastes good, you wait an hour, it's going to be even stronger. It's got a nice smoky flavor to it. I'm going to use some Old Bay seasoning. Now some dried fennel. Here's 2 bay leaves. Now I'm going to add some clamato, which you can definitely find in the grocery store. A lot of recipes call for tomato juice, so I feel this kind of gives it a little more of the saltiness that we're looking for. So, I don't know, this recipe's kind of big, so we'll go a little more here. If you add too much fluid, you can always just boil it out, just let it reduce. So now we have a pretty solid base here. San Marzano Italian tomatoes that I just crushed by hand, put them in a bowl here. You can buy them in little cans at the grocery store. If you see them, look for DOP San Marzano. The DOP is origin protected, and you'll get the real tomatoes. And there is a big taste difference. So we're going to go ahead and just add these tomatoes. Product here. In the back, we still have our broth simmering away there. We will add some fresh oregano. You don't ever want to put your herbs in too early, especially fresh herbs, because they tend to burn off and you lose a lot of the oils and the aromas. So if you're cooking with fresh herbs, you don't want to kill them, and you just kind of want to finish products with them, not so much cook them down. Like even making a red sauce or whatever, you're going to add your basil and your oregano at the end of the recipe. So we're pretty much done. We're just going to let this simmer a little bit. When the fennel comes out, we're going to chop it up and add it to it. And then when you're ready to enjoy the seafood stew, use this as a base. Select whatever seafood you like.